Good morning, guys. It is February 26th. It's Wednesday, so that makes it hump day. Everybody's like super excited to get halfway over the week, I guess. I don't worry about it. I don't know. I've never been big on countdown weeks. Somebody said something funny to me yesterday and says, you know what tomorrow means? I was like, what? They're like, it's Wednesday. It's day 3 of the hostage situation. And I thought that was so sad because that means that they're not excited to get up and do their day. If they look at it like a hostage situation, then they're in a job that they don't love. And that's kind of rough, don't you think? I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't want to do that. I'm lucky because I don't hate my job. I don't hate getting up in the morning. I always have my coffee. Are you guys having coffee with me? I drink a lot of coffee. And I want you guys to look at this. I got like bags under my eyes. The reason for the bags is that I didn't sleep very good. And I didn't sleep bad either, if that makes any sense. I woke up a few times and I had my brain was on and going, and I really just wanted to snuggle in and sleep for a little longer. But I have this problem where when my eyes open, or as soon as I become aware that I'm waking up, I'm done. I could sit there for days and try to fall back asleep, and I won't fall back asleep. So I got up and I came to talk to you guys. I got ready really, really fast and decided I'm just gonna go have coffee and talk to these guys, because one of the things that happened last night is that as I was going through the aspects and I'm looking at the charts, and I realized that there's not a whole bunch of significant change. So everything that was happening yesterday, so if you didn't watch yesterday's video, go watch it, kind of carries through to today. And we're going to continue in with Mercury retrograde. And so I thought to myself, yesterday I got a few questions, lots of DMs actually, asking about Mercury retrograde, with specific signs and with if I was born in a Mercury retrograde. Oh, my rising sign is Mercury, or my rising planet is Mercury. Not my rising sign, because Mercury is a planet, not a sign. But their ruling planet for their sign might have been Mercury, etc. And I realized that we've kind of found ourselves in a culture where we hear the words Mercury retrograde all the time, and people are like, oh, it must be Mercury retrograde. Which bugs me a little, because it's kind of like this mainstream thing, and it's not what everybody makes it out to be. It's not like Murphy's Law. Like, that's what they're using it as. Like, it's Murphy's Law or bad karma, and it shouldn't be looked at like that. But it is some weird planetary setup, right? So I was reading an article last night trying to come up with a great analogy or comparison to teach you guys a little bit about it. And this analogy, metaphor, whatever you want to call it, described that if you were sitting in a car and a car passes you, you can tell that it's going faster than you, because Mercury has a much shorter orbit than planet Earth, right? And so we end up with Mercury in what appears to be retrograde 3-4 times a year. And so if you're in this car and the car goes past you, you know that it's moving faster than you, right? But if this car's going faster than you and it slows down and you pass it, do you see that? It almost makes it look like that car's going backwards. If you've ever been sitting in a parking lot and you're creeping in super slow and the car next to you starts to pull out and you like jerk and stop. I do that all the time. It feels like you're moving at a different rate, okay? So now you got this car that you passed because it slowed down fast, and then it kicks on the gas and like zooms past you, right? And there's a little cloud of dust as it goes past you again. Then it looks like it's going way faster, right? This whole motion is what Mercury retrograde is about, right? So it comes around on a different side and it looks like it does this and it looks like it's going backwards, but it's not actually, but it is in a resting phase. So that resting phase in astrology means that basically Mercury is napping and it's not controlling the things with the same hand on it as normal, right? So it rules communication and coding, even like computer coding. So travel, bill paying, guys, anything that deals with communicating, import, export, all of it, right? So we just found out in Mercury retrograde that China stopped all export. Yes, I know what it's from. I know the reasons behind it. I know the coronavirus and the lack of, but right, that would be the type of thing that Mercury is in control of, is this import, export, and the relay of communication and the ability to do trade. Computers crashing. Everybody talks about how my computer's acting wonky or my radio in my car's acting wonky. You like my word wonky? I do too. So those things make it so that those things are disrupted during this resting phase. And then I promise you, if you keep doing the work, when Mercury does that takeoff again, then everything's going to fall into play. Now, I'm not going to say don't do anything right, but just be cautious. I always tell everybody, I have a great Mercury retrograde every time. And so keep doing the work, keep making your plans, keep scheduling things, but maybe not execute. You only have, God, till March 8th. We're like most of the way there. I'm looking at my calendar over there thinking you guys can see it. You only have until March 8th. And so put things off, signing contracts or buying a big house or changing your relationship, and see how you feel after Mercury retrograde. One of the funny things is my husband had asked me last night, we're laying in bed and I'm looking this up, that analogy. And my husband says, what are some big things that have happened during Mercury retrograde? And I want to preface this by saying that, guys, lots and lots of good things have happened during a Mercury retrograde, right? But we like the doomsday thing. So I had looked up a few things. One of the things that I already knew that happened during a Mercury retrograde was like this inability to communicate and the instruments. Oh my gosh, I looked for that word last night. The instruments on the Titanic they were suspected to have not been working properly, and otherwise they would have seen and been aware of the big giant iceberg off Newfoundland. So in 1912, during Mercury retrograde is when the Titanic sank. In 1966, the Watts riots in Los Angeles broke out. 1972 had the first MLB walk-off strike, first ever strike for Major League Baseball. In 1978, this is my favorite one. In 1978, you want to talk about a lack or a disruption in communication, is that in 1978, the Pulitzer Prize was awarded to the wrong person, right? The wrong envelope was delivered, and so they announced the Pulitzer Prize was given to the wrong person. More recently, right, if we think about things that are more recently, like in 2011, the London riots broke out and like nobody was communicating. Riots are a lack of communication down to its core. And so there's those things that happen. And when you talk about travel too, travel is disrupted. And there was some pretty big summits that were going to happen in Costa Rica in 91, and then they had the big 7.4 earthquake. I'm just saying, like, how can you disrupt travel more than that? And then in 2014, we had like the first Ebola infected in the US come in on a plane in 2014. All of this during Mercury retrograde. So, but there's been some really great things. Some big UN summits have done. The USSR made some really fantastic nuclear weapon sanctions and agreements to stop nuclear testing. Man, guys, there's just tons. But if you go back, it's so funny to see that some of them are based on these communication and travel. Like, it's still, no matter what, all of it has to do with communication and travel. So anyway, Mercury retrograde, like I said, it's not something like, it's just this planetary orbit, and it does kind of disrupt things. Again, I'm going to tell you, like each of the planets and each of the moon and the orbits and the axis, it all affects all of the cells and everything in our body, and slight chemistry changes. If you're a woman and well, even if you're a man and you've had like one hormonal day, you know that the slightest chemistry change affects everything about us, how we communicate, how our skin looks. I mean, it just is like one tiny little thing. So planetary pull, magnetic energies, and, you know, polar energies pulling, and it's basically like lunar poles, I mean, they cause tides. They move entire oceans. They move every cell in your body. Don't think that they don't. So that's it for Mercury retrograde. I just kind of wanted to give you guys kind of a little background and history on Mercury retrograde, because it's going to continue until March 8th. And you're all going to be fine. I promise. We're all going to make it through, so it's going to be good. Keep an eye out. I'm going to continue to do Moxie in the morning, but in the afternoons I'm going to do a little bit of vlogging, video log. I don't know what you want to call it, because I'm old and I guess I'm not hip. But I was telling you guys that I do have this surgery coming up sometime in 2003. God, it would have been 2003. Anyway, 2003, I had augmentation surgery, and I've had it for a long time. I have had a myriad of health problems. It seems like a long time, right? That's like 15 years. I've had a myriad of 16 years. A myriad of medical problems, and a while ago, the left implant ruptured, and just so you know, most insurances won't cover the removal or repair of a cosmetic procedure gone bad. Even though it's causing some health issues, it was still the results of a cosmetic procedure. It's been a big, long fight to get it taken care of. So anyway, I am going to start kind of documenting that and how I feel, and because it's been super emotional, and I've opted not to have them replaced. I've opted not to put any more plastics or foreign objects into my body. And so I'm going to be kind of documenting that and what it's like after, and if my health improves. Since the rupture, I've had like the weirdest skin irritations and allergies that have suddenly popped up. Migraines have gone through the roof. I get migraines a lot. So during that time that I wasn't visiting with you guys in the morning and I wasn't doing videos very often, I was not feeling well. And so, but I'm back. I'm feeling okay. I'm super excited. April 21st is when I'm going to have the surgery, and I will talk to you guys through the whole thing. I do want you to come along with me. I'm going to be honest. A little bit of support would be fantastic. I have so much support here. My family is super supportive of the whole thing. And I'm going to be going through some pretty different body changes, but I am going to love it because I just want to be healthy. I'm at that age. I'm not really that concerned with whether or not I'm kicking it in a swimsuit, but I am concerned with whether or not I feel great. So anyway, you guys should be worried about whether or not you feel great. I hope you feel great all day today. If you have any questions about it, I'm very open. I'm willing to answer questions. And if you have similar issues, let's talk, because I'd love to share that kind of story with you guys. But anyway, enjoy your Wednesday, your hump day, and I love you guys.